In a small-town high school bathroom, 16-year-old Riley Parker stares into a cracked mirror, her hands trembling as she clutches a pair of scissors. 3 girls circle her, their laughter sharp like shattered glass, ready to cut away her confidence. Along with her hair, but Riley is not the victim they think she is, a storm waiting to break and the sink behind. Them is about to become their reckoning. Buckle up for a story of betrayal, revenge, and a twist that will leave you speechless. Do not miss a second of this gripping tale. Hit that subscribe button and join the ride. Riley Parker was not born tough, but life had a way of forging her into something unbreakable. At 16, she stood 5'4", with auburn hair that fell past her shoulders in waves she had spent years growing out. It was her armor, her shield against the whispers that followed her through the halls of Westbridge High. The small town of Millhaven, Ohio, was not kind to kids like Riley, kids who did not fit the mold, who wore thrift store jackets and carried secrets heavier than their backpacks. Her mom worked double shifts at the diner. Her dad was a ghost who left when she was 6, and Riley learned early that trust was a luxury she could not afford. It was a humid September afternoon when the trouble started. Riley sat in the back of algebra class, doodling in her notebook, when she felt the weight of eyes on her. Kayle Simmons, Queen Bee of Westbridge's junior class, leaned over to her friends, Brittany and Tara, whispering just loud enough for Riley to hear. "Freak loser, that hair looks like a rat's nest," Riley told herself as her jaw tightened, but she kept her head down. She had heard worse. Kayle, with her perfect blonde ponytail and designer purse, had been gunning for Riley since freshman year when Riley accidentally spilled juice on Kaylee's cheerleading uniform. It was an accident, but Kayle did not believe in accidents. She believed in power. By lunch, the whispers had spread. Riley sat alone at a corner table, picking at a soggy sandwich, when a note slid across the table. She unfolded it to find a crude drawing of a girl with choppy hair labeled Riley's makeover. Her stomach twisted. She glanced up to see Kayle smirking from across the cafeteria, flanked by Brittany and Tara. Riley crumpled the note and shoved it into her pocket, but the message burned into her mind. They were not just mocking her, they were planning something. Rest of the day dragged. Riley kept her head low, avoiding Kaylee's crew, but the air felt charged like the calm before a storm. After the final bell, she headed to the girls' bathroom on the second floor to splash water on her face and shake off the day. The bathroom was quiet, its fluorescent lights flickering over chipped tiles and rusted sinks. She leaned over the basin, letting the cold water sting her cheeks when the door creaked open. Riley's heart sank as she heard the familiar giggle Kaylee's. Well, it is the charity case," Kayle said, stepping inside with Brittany and Tara at her heels. Brittany held a pair of scissors, the kind you would find in an art room, glinting. Under the harsh light, Tara locked the door behind them. Riley straightened her pulse, racing, but she kept her face blank. Never let them see you break. That was her rule. "What do you want, Kayle?" Riley asked, her voice steady, but her hands curled into fists at her sides. Kayle smirked, tossing her ponytail. "Your hair is an eyesore, Riley. We are doing you a favor. Trim, and maybe you will stop looking like you crawled out of a dumpster." Brittany snipped the scissors in the air, laughing. Tara leaned against the door, arms crossed, her eyes gleaming with anticipation. Riley's mind raced. She was outnumbered, trapped. The bathroom walls seemed to close in the air, thick with the smell of cheap perfume and bleach. But Riley was not just a scared kid anymore. She had spent years learning to survive, taught by a mother who fought for every dollar, by nights alone in a trailer park where every shadow could be a threat. She was not going down without a fight. "Back off," Riley said. Stepping away from the sink, her voice was low, a warning. Kayle laughed, mistaking it for weakness. "Hold her," Kayle snapped. Brittany lunged forward, grabbing Riley's arm. Tara moved in from the side, reaching for Riley's hair. That is when something snapped inside her. Riley twisted free, her elbow catching Brittany's wrist. The scissors clattered to the floor. Before Tara could react, Riley grabbed her by the shoulders and shoved her hard against the sink. The porcelain rattled as Tara gasped her back, slamming into the edge. Kayle froze, her smirk vanishing. "You think you can touch me?" Riley's voice was a growl, now raw and unyielding. She picked up the scissors, her hands steady despite the adrenaline flooding her veins. Brittany scrambled back, her eyes wide. Tara clutched the sink, wincing, but Riley was not done. She stepped toward Kayle, who stumbled backward, her heels slipping. On the slick tiles, Riley chill. "It was just a joke," Kayle stammered, her confidence crumbling. But Riley saw the lie in her eyes, the same cruelty that had followed her for years. She held the scissors up not to cut, but to make a point. "You do not get to decide what I am," she said. "Not anymore." The bathroom door rattled. Someone was trying. "To get in? What is going on in there?" A muffled voice called Mrs. Delgado, the history teacher. Riley dropped the scissors into the sink, her chest heaving. Kayle seized the moment, shoving past Riley to unlock the door. "She attacked us," Kayle cried. As Mrs. Delgado burst in her face, a mix of shock and suspicion. The principal's office was a blur. Kayle spun a story about Riley going psycho with the scissors, while Brittany and Tara nodded along, their faces pale. Riley stayed silent, knowing her word meant nothing against the Golden Trio. Principal Harris, a tired man with a comb-over side, and handed Riley a 3-day suspension. "We do not tolerate violence, Miss Parker," he said, barely looking at her. Kayle got a warning for instigating, but her smile as she left the office told Riley everything she had won this round. At home, Riley's mom, exhausted from her shift, did not yell. She just hugged Riley and said, "We will figure it out." But Riley was not so sure. The suspension would go on her record, another mark against her future. That night, she lay awake, the crumpled note from lunch burning a hole in her pocket. She unfolded it again, staring at the drawing. Something clicked. This was not over. The next day, while suspended, Riley did not stay home. She slipped into the school's computer lab after hours, using a key she had borrowed from a janitor's cart last year. Her fingers flew over the keyboard, digging into Kayle's digital life. It was not hard. Kayle was not as smart as she thought. Riley found messages, screenshots, a group chat where Kayle bragged about the bathroom plan, complete with photos of the scissors and cruel jokes about Riley's mom. But there was more. Kayle had been cheating on every major test, buying answers from a senior who had hacked the school's grading system. Riley saved everything to a flash drive, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and triumph. When Riley returned to school, she did not confront Kayle directly. She slipped the flash drive into Mrs. Delgado's mailbox with a note, "Check Kayle Simmons' phone." By lunch, the school was buzzing. Kayle was called to the office, her face ashen. The cheating scandal exploded, dragging Brittany and Tara down with her. The trio was suspended, and Kayle's cheerleading captain title was stripped. Whispers followed them now, not Riley. But the story does not end there. A week later, Riley found another note in her locker. This one was not from Kayle, it was anonymous. Written in Sharpie on torn notebook paper, "I know what you did. You are not as clever as you think." Riley's blood ran cold. Someone had seen her in the computer lab, or maybe they had hacked her back. She scanned the crowded hallway, searching for a clue. But every face looked like a suspect. The notes kept coming, each one more cryptic. "You cannot hide forever. Payback is coming." Riley started checking her surroundings, jumping at shadows. She confided in her best friend Mia, a quiet girl who had always had her back. Mia urged her to tell a teacher, but Riley refused. She had handled Kayle, she could handle this, but doubt gnawed at her. What if Kayle was not the real enemy? What if someone else had been pulling the strings all along? Winter talent show. Riley had signed up to perform a spoken-word poem, a last-minute decision to reclaim her voice. The auditorium was packed, the air thick with anticipation. Kayle, back from suspension, but diminished, sat in the front row, her eyes locked on Riley. As Riley took the stage, her poem poured out raw, unflinching, about surviving, about standing tall. The crowd was silent, then erupted in applause. For the first time, Riley felt seen, not as a victim, but as a force. But as she stepped off the stage, a spotlight flickered and a projector screen lit up behind her. A video played grainy footage of Riley in the computer lab downloading Kayle's messages. The crowd gasped. Riley froze, her triumph turning to ash. The video cut to another clip, Kayle, Brittany, and Tara planning the bathroom ambush, laughing about how they would break her. Then a voiceover distorted, untraceable. "Who is the real bully?" The auditorium descended into chaos. Students whispered. Teachers scrambled to shut off the projector. Riley's eyes met Kayle's, both of them, caught in a trap neither had set. The notes, the video, someone else was playing a bigger game, exposing them both. Principal Harris stormed. The stage demanding answers, but Riley had none. Neither did Kayle, whose tears were real for once. The next day, the school launched an investigation. The video was traced to an anonymous email sent from a burner account.
Riley
and Kayle were both questioned, but the mastermind stayed hidden. Rumors swirled about a hacker in the senior class, a kid with a grudge against everyone. Others thought it was Mia, who had been too quiet, too loyal. Riley did not know who to trust anymore, but she knew one thing: she was not a victim, and she was not a villain. She was Riley Parker, and she would fight to define herself. The following week, Riley found a new lead. A crumpled photo slipped under her trailer door showed her mom's diner, the neon sign glowing in the dark. No note, just the image, but the message was clear: whoever was behind the notes knew where Riley lived, where her mom worked. Panic clawed at her, but she pushed it down, replacing it with resolve. She started digging again, this time into the school's security system, using skills she had picked up from late-night coding tutorials on YouTube. She found a deleted file on the server, a log of someone accessing the lab's cameras the night she had been there. The user ID was unfamiliar, Shadow99. Riley's heart raced as she cross-referenced it. It led to a name she had not expected: Ethan Carter, a quiet sophomore who had always lingered on the edges of her classes unnoticed. Ethan, who had been bullied by Kayle's crew last year, whose glasses were broken in a prank that left him humiliated. Riley remembered him watching her in the cafeteria, his eyes sharp, calculating. Had he been playing her and Kayle against each other, orchestrating everything? She confronted him in the library, cornering him behind a stack of books. "Why?" she demanded, holding up the photo. Ethan's face paled, but he did not deny it. "You both deserved it," he said softly. "Kayle for what she did to me, you for thinking you could play hero without consequences." He admitted to the notes, the video, the hack he had. Wanted to expose the school's hypocrisy, to show no one was innocent. But when Riley asked about the diner photo, Ethan frowned. "I did not send that." The words hit like a punch. Someone else was out there watching, and Ethan was just a pawn. Riley left the library, her mind spinning. The real mastermind was still hidden, and now they were targeting her family. She had to protect her mom, but how do you fight an enemy you cannot see? That night, Riley sat in the diner's back booth, watching her mom wipe down counters after closing. The photo of the neon sign haunted her, but something else felt off. A regular customer, Mr. Hensley, a quiet man who always tipped too much, had been there earlier, his eyes lingering on Riley longer than usual. She had brushed it off, but now she wondered. He had been at the talent show too, sitting alone in the back. Riley hacked into the diner's old security feed using her laptop and found grainy footage from the night the photo was taken. There, he was Mr. Hensley standing across the street, staring at the diner, his phone raised, like he was taking a picture. Her blood ran cold. Was he the one behind it all? She dug deeper, finding his name tied to an old news article about a teacher fired from Westbridge High years ago for misconduct. The article was vague, but mentioned a vendetta against the school. Had he been using Ethan, watching Riley, manipulating everything from the shadows? She confronted her mom, who admitted Mr. Hensley had asked about Riley's school life, claiming he was just concerned. Riley's stomach churned. He was no bystander, he was hunting her. She told her mom to stay late at the diner, promising to explain later, then raced home to set a trap. She left her laptop open, streaming a fake search history about the notes, hoping to lure him out. By dawn, a new note appeared under her door: "You are closer than you think." Riley's hands shook, but she steeled herself. She would face him not as a victim, but as a fighter ready to end this game. As winter break approached, Riley stood in the same bathroom where it all began. She looked in the mirror, her auburn hair still long, still hers. She had survived Kayle, the notes, the video. But the game was not over. Somewhere someone was watching, waiting for the next move. Riley smiled at her reflection, a spark of defiance in her eyes. Let them come. She was ready. Wow, what a ride. Did Riley's story keep you on the edge of your seat? Who do you think was behind the mysterious notes and that shocking video reveal? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let me know where. You are watching from New York, California, Texas, or somewhere else in the USA? Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that pack a punch. See you in the next one.